Cool. Fantastic. So hopefully today is going to be a useful session. What we're going to do is just go through our new UI refresh of the content management system and highlight some of the newer areas, the newer features. Obviously, from an aesthetic perspective, I'm sure you've all had a quick play or kind of a route around. So we'll have an opportunity to answer questions towards the end as well. But if you have any questions as we go through, feel free to post those and we'll pick those up. Essentially, we're going to be going through a couple of new areas, which mostly the app build wizard, some of the new templates that we've done, which Nabina's been working very hard on, as well as the new admin section, which allows you to kind of in a more efficient way manage customers and their apps, as well as just general navigation and dashboard. So before we, without any further ado, in fact, let's start with the app building wizard. So hopefully you can all see the new content management system. You can see what we're doing here is creating a new app.
We've done one here actually called Ian's Test App.
Okay, so we've got a new app here. And what we'll see when we go into this,
it's the hairdressing template.
I know, I thought we were going to go through and show the actual,
okay.
You need to create a new, we'll start again. So what we're going to do is create a new app. And what we'll see is when we create a new app, what it does, it automatically fills in the app code that you've created, and so therefore this app code field acts as a filter, so it will show you that exact app. And here, as we had before on the previous CMS, the various different actions to edit the app details, clone it, and can overwrite it to change it to a different app code. So what we're going to do is edit the app, where you can just click the app icon or click the edit app from the menu. So this is a new feature that we have here, where every time you create an app for the first time you load the app, you've got the option of if the app or the business, in fact, that you're creating the app for has a Facebook page, you can just type in the name of the Facebook page here, and it will start to suggest Facebook pages. So here we can see I've just typed in Hungry Pump or Pump, Hungry Pump, and we can see here that it's as we type in, it's just reducing the number of options that we have available to us. So in this case, I'm going to choose the Hungry Pumpkin, which is a beautiful deli just around the corner from us. If you're ever in Nottingham, do recommend it. And you can see underneath you've got it's a restaurant cafe, so that gives you the category. So what we can see here from the kind of confirmation side, that we've selected a restaurant template from our system based on the category of Facebook, which was restaurant cafe. If we prefer, we can select a different template. So what I'm going to do is just from a demonstration perspective, I'm going to choose a different template. Equally, we could have clicked continue just to confirm that. But instead, what we get here now, because I'm choosing a different template, is the various array of the new business templates that have been set up by Nabina. So again, there's a lot of the old templates we had, they've all been refreshed, and there are some specific new ones. So here we are at the restaurant template, which is the one that we've already got selected. But I'll just quickly run through all of these just so you can see again that we had before. Obviously, we have a bar template, we have the fan-based template, the sports club template, the instructional. This is a really nice new one. It should be 18 holes in a golf app. But a golf club template.
I don't play golf.
18 holes is pretty standard. Lawyers, kind of radio stations, and with each of these templates, as you select them, there will be an array of different background images to select, which will be in the image library of each template. So it's not just the specific template and layout that you're getting, you're also getting a selection of different backgrounds that you can use within the app as well, which are specific to the type of template you've chosen. So if you were choosing like a takeaway template, for example, or a restaurant template, you're going to be getting kind of food orientated kind of backgrounds, as opposed to if you were selecting something that was kind of more media focused, for example. So what I'm going to do for the sake of this presentation, I'm going to select the takeaway template just to illustrate that. As we can say, one final thing is that each of these templates we can see here with the full data in it. What actually we're doing is removing all of that data. So once you've loaded the template, it's just directly straight away ready for you to kind of enter all the information that you need. So I'm just going to click this select template button here, and what we'll do now is that's going away and building the app. So that's kind of creating the app based on the template we've selected, but also importantly what it's doing now is using the Facebook page we've selected. It's pulling through all the Facebook data, including opening times, website, location, images, and this is something that we're continuing to add to. So in the very near future, we'll also be populating the image gallery with full Facebook photos and many other kind of useful aspects of the Facebook data that we can pull through. So this is the final page of the process, which is just confirming that so far we've done an awesome job, which clearly we know that already. And again, just to outline the 3 steps, which were the same 3 steps we had before. It's always about setting up the appearance, editing the content, and then finally publishing the app. So again, you guys will already be very familiar with those 3 steps, and so I don't need to labour that point anymore. So we'll just click the Get Started. And what we'll see here, the first interesting thing is in the top left, as soon as you've created an icon for an app, it will show there. And as you remember from when we started creating this app, we were choosing the Hungry Pumpkin app from the Facebook page, and so therefore we've automatically created the icon. So I can go to the app icon, and we can see that's already created, pulled through from the Facebook page, which I'm sure you guys will agree is a really nice, speedy way of kind of kick-starting the app. So I'll just nip back. So when we first jump in, we're kind of in this build section. So before I kind of go into the specifics of the app, I'll just take a second just to talk about how navigation works within our content management system. So obviously you'll all remember from our kind of previous design kind of concepts, we had the menus across the top, and you had the kind of appearance, content, and publish. So what we've done now is we've moved that down to the side to give us a little bit more room kind of in the center there for the app design, and kind of moved kind of all the navigations to the side. So essentially we've got an admin section, which we'll come back to in a moment, but that kind of gives you all your admin options. You've got your dashboard area, which allows you to look at all of your apps and also the most recent ones you've worked on, and as well as your account details. And then really we have our the appearance and the content section of the app building process all put into one section. So anything to do with creating your app or editing your app, regardless of whether it's content, modules, appearance, it's all within the build section now. And then we have the publish section, which was pretty much as it was before. And then we have the final new marketing section, which we'll come to in a little while. So just a couple of quick tips and hints about using this this navigation. It's got what we call intent or mouse intent, which basically means I can move up and down here. It's only when I stop that it will actually show me the results of that submenu. So here we can see with marketing, we've got QR code, promo site, and social media. And so it's only, you can see we can move around. It's only when we stop we get to see a preview of what that menu is. Then once we've hovered over that, we can then go and select a specific choice, or if we just click on the main button, it will just choose the first one for us. So here on dashboard, for example, if I want to see view all apps, rather than kind of going dashboard and going all up here, I can just click on the dashboard icon, and that would load that option. Equally here on build, rather than kind of just going to color scheme, I could just click on build, and then it would load the color scheme option. So let's just focus on the build section for now. And again, this first part of this, which is color scheme, should look reasonably similar to what we had before, in terms of this is just where we're able to kind of modify all of the color scheme, appearance aspects of the app, and we can very simply switch between editor and preview. So before, where we had the pop-out preview tab, now we can just toggle between either editor mode or preview mode to see our app, to see what it looks like. So here again on the right hand side, we've got all of the controls to change any of the coloration. So if we didn't want a black header bar, for example, if we wanted that to be green, we could do that, and obviously as we change it, we see an update, and we also get an update message here, which hopefully is less intrusive than the last one, doesn't get in the way and cover any of the important areas. In addition to our colors, we also have this toggle so we can change to images. So as we had before, again, we have a similar amount of control, so we've not had anything new here. All we've tried to do is just improve the experience in terms of how we get access to those and how easy it is to preview the changes we've made. So we say we've got a nice color contrasting green header with our data. Also, what we can also do is, let's have a quick look at About, and here we can see the name, the phone number, the address, and the description is all pulled through from the Facebook page. So we've got content in there already without having to key anything in, which is all brought from the Facebook page, which again, hopefully you guys will agree is a welcome addition, and hopefully will save yourself a lot of time. Finally, one aspect of this color scheme page, which is a consistent UI aspect within the build section. You have these little hover over phones. Again, these were apparent in the last design of the platform. Again, this is just using more consistency in terms of allowing you with your CRM apps to scan and either load the preview or load kind of logging in, as we'll see later on with the CRM analytics. And also we have the help icons here to allow video help of the various different sections. So again, these have all been updated to show you kind of help specific to the new system. So again, if at any point you become unsure of what to do, then you'll always find in the top right hand corner somewhere one of these help icons which will kind of guide you or give you an example of what to do. Failing that, we also have our new support system, which you as a white label admin will have access to, but it is just for you, not for your clients. So your clients logging in will not see this. This is just for you to get help from our team. And so here we can see a message from us to one of our help people. And here you can just simply start a conversation, and we'll be able to support you directly within the system with any requirements that you have. So that's the color scheme. Again, a few fundamental changes in terms of how we access and preview that, but fundamentally, it's the controls are still the same.
The image section.
Yes.
Ah. We haven't talked about this, have we?
Yeah.
Oh.
A little bit. So again, the image section, this is just allowing us to upload images for the header bar and for the lower panel. And as before, if we upload an image, I don't know if we've got anything here, so here we can see actually from our image library, all of these images here are images that we had for the specific theme we were using. And also the Hungry Pumpkin, which we pulled from Facebook. Now this isn't the right size, but what it will do is allow us to kind of see here as we hover over, it will show you exactly where that will appear within the app, and you do have a hint here of what size it should be. So again, simply kind of clearing or selecting that. If I wanted to add a new image, I can choose to upload that from my desktop. We can also choose to kind of see a list of images, see their sizes when they're added. We can also filter that, so if I knew that it was a specific image that I wanted to find, I can just filter that based on the name of the image that we'd uploaded it as. So again, hopefully that should make finding images a much simpler process. So moving on from the color scheme to the splash screen, again, to start with, what we're seeing is one of the images that's been pulled through from the theme that we've created. I think a nice new addition to the splash screen is the overlay guidelines. So obviously with Apple products, but also Android products as well, many different screen sizes. So we've got the different areas. So from kind of your large phablet sort of phones, you know, what the full screen would look like. If you've got like kind of a smaller 4-inch phone like the iPhone 4 or 3.5 inch, let's say, what area that will be, and then you've kind of got your core area, which is outlined in red here, which is really kind of the area you want to focus any core information or text or logos inside that. So that's something you can just click on and off, just as a guide to kind of see, you know, make sure your design fits within that. Other than that, again, in this kind of toolbar on the right-hand side, we've got all of the basic controls we had before in terms of being able to add text and kind of resize and move those around. And the same, we can add images onto there. So if we wanted to add in our Hungry Pumpkin image, you know, we can do that and kind of, you know, really control as we had before. And the layer management we still have just on this secondary tab here. Of course, as before, we've got the help specific to this area of the system. So within either of these, once we've added something, we can choose to save that image. Let's just do that quickly. And so again, what we've got here is very similar control to as we had before, but just with a few additional features such as the overlay guidelines, which really kind of address some of the usage problems that users had before in terms of how to get the best out of the designing of an app. Now I'm just going to move on to the app icon. Again, as I mentioned before, this has already been pre-completed using the Facebook data that we've added, so we can jump to the preview, which shows us, you know, what the app icon will look like in situ, and, you know, the various different sizes. And on the right-hand side here, we've got the various different control aspects, whether it's a toolbox or the layers of the image. Again, so I'm just going to leave that as it is. I think without having to do anything at all, we've got a pretty good icon there, obviously pulled from the Facebook page. So now we get into the content area of the app. And again, there's been a few subtle changes to how this works, but I think they'll all be very welcome ones. So again, as before, we've got the paradigm of your kind of control app here, you know, and all of these can be dragged. We've certainly made that a little bit cleaner and clearer in terms of how that can be done. And also, if we had tabs in here, you know, we can, in the same way we did before, it's very simple just to create a new tab. Now I'm specifically selecting the tier tab because I think this was one of the tabs before that could be a little bit problematic in terms of how you kind of add sub-tiers. So I'm just going to quickly just add a couple of sub-tiers just to kind of illustrate the point of how this works. Again, so now you can see once we've got a tier tab, you've got a clear label. Well, this works for any sort of tabs, but you've got a clear label of what that tab is. But it's the indentation that it's the indentation that works in a much nicer way than it did before. I think sometimes if you'd use one of these, that getting that kind of clear, kind of, is it in line or is it a kind of a sub-tier of that was a little bit difficult. Whereas now that is something that's been fixed. It is much nicer. Yeah, so and again, we've got the preview here, the hover over the preview that allows you to kind of load the app very simply, or you've got the app code as well. One point at the screen. Which yeah, cool. Which allows you to kind of do that manually if you so wished. So the other option or the other benefit of the tiers, which It's difficult to illustrate right now because we've got a very small amount of nested data here, is before, whenever we dragged a tab across from inactive into here, it would always just automatically throw it straight into the bottom, whereas now what we can do when we choose to drag that across is we can choose whereabouts that's going to drop into it. So rather than automatically defaulting to the bottom, I can choose to drop that straight into any particular area. So again, if you built an app with 30 or 40 tabs in there, you would have appreciated that sometimes was a little bit painful to do, that it was always dropped at the bottom when actually you wanted to drop it somewhere in the middle of that. So hopefully that'll also be a welcome change and something that you'll benefit from ahead a little bit longer. So again, we can jump to the preview at any particular time, and what we'll see is the app that we've kind of started to create with kind of really little data in here. And this allows us to kind of add that straight in from the template rather than having to mess around deleting any data. The final change from the content section, obviously there's still a whole host of different functions within here, all the different module areas, but these are really unchanged from the previous system. Again, it's just a kind of a very, very slight change in terms of the aesthetic of those pop-up pages, but more it's just about having the design consistent rather than it changing any sort of way. So, for example, here where you've got select an icon, rather than having to click the icon, you can actually choose a button to see that. Again, just making it a little bit simpler for you and your users. And again, consistency with having the help in the same place in every area. The final change is we've moved the global settings from the publish area into build, because really a lot of these global settings are really more about content settings for your app rather than publish settings. So sometimes they will be missed before. So by having the global settings within the build, that should allow a kind of a simpler way to kind of edit these without them being missed. Again, we've got little tips here, almost like tool tips of what each section is and how it works. And as before, we've got our download documents, which kind of help set those up. And of course, all of these are non-branded, so again, maintaining the white label aspect of the platform. So that's really the build section, and obviously highlighting some of the key areas of what how that works. And then really we're on to pulling that kind of three-step process of appearance, content, and publish. And then we've kind of got the preview, which kind of we've had preview all the way along, but this is just your kind of one final step really in terms of that process, just to kind of emphasize the fact that you should be previewing your app, hopefully on your device before you publish it. And again, we've got the QR code here that will allow you or your customers to download your own branded preview app, so you can preview your new app. And then finally, we have the publish page. It's added quite a bit of additional content selection, which is really about content ratings. In the news, but recently Google have announced that they're also starting to approve, in the similar way that Apple does, approve apps, and so therefore the content ratings becomes more important, because there's going to be a manual review of Android apps for Google Play in a similar fashion to what Apple do. Although I hasten to add that Google are doing it in a much timely manner. There's not going to be any 2 weeks of waiting in the same way that Apple does. So all of these various different ratings do have an impact on the age selection here. So some of these questions, again, this is based on Apple's and Android's rating system, but some of them are trick questions. So even though they give you the option to choose frequent sexual nudity, for example, if you do select that, they're just not going to approve your app. So you can see that based on your selections, your app will not be made available on the App Store. So again, this is just a little guide to kind of not fall into their trap of selecting ratings from their options, which actually mean your app won't get approved. So again, that's an important one to have. The same here for kind of gambling content, etc. So it will restrict your app in certain areas. So for example, if you've got an app that's going to be hot in Brazil, don't check that it's got unrestricted web accessing or gambling content. So this is hopefully a little useful feature that will ensure that your app's kind of got the right rating and that you're sending the right rating to Apple as well. So again, you'll see that information here. And as you go through here, you can save the ratings. So if you're not ready to publish, you can just come in here and set those aspects up and just save. And as before, we have the same App Store information in terms of description, name, keywords, and your primary and secondary category. The app screenshots, this is a function that we're actually working on at the moment that's going to allow us to take automatic screenshots of all areas of your app. For now, we're just including the first home screen shot, but you do have the option of uploading more. Like I said, watch this space, more functionality coming there very, very soon. And then finally, we have your account details, so you can put in your username and password for iTunes, and also the invite instructions for Google Play, so we can upload the app to there. And then we've got the final submit app for publication, which again, as before, will go through the QA checks to make sure your app's being completed in terms of content. Obviously, we haven't done any of the content in this app, so it would fail the submission. And in fact, I haven't finished completing any of this information here. So let me just choose one of those. Let's just I haven't completed a content rating, so we'll just quickly go through that. And what we'll see is a slightly improved progress. And here we see that the build's failed because we haven't added any images to the gallery. So again, that QA aspect is maintained. And just in case you weren't sure what the word failed means, we put a nice big red cross here as well. So that's the publish section. Again, not a huge amount has changed from there. Again, it's just small little changes that hopefully make the whole app building and submission process a lot slicker. And now moving on to the marketing section. And so what we've got here is an area close to Nabina's heart. She helped define this, and certainly this, I think it's important to say, this is a first step process. We're definitely going to be adding more to this as we go through. We just thought it was important to define a marketing area, something where you can help your customers promote their app. And so we definitely solicit your suggestions and advice on things that you think would be useful to see in here for future updates and release of this area. Like I said, this is by no means considered to be the completed piece, but more at the start of a journey. So again, QR codes, we can choose the different sizes we want to see, and these can be obviously used for print, for put in the windows or anywhere else that we're going to incentivize or kind of increase the likelihood of an app being seen or downloaded by your customers, as they were. So that's the QR code section. So again, just a real simple way to kind of get access to your QR code for the app that you're building. The promo site is something we've been working on for a while, and we're kind of quite excited about that. It's something that a lot of people like yourselves have been asking for in terms of a simple way to promote the app in a more aesthetically pleasing way than just a kind of a QR code and something that can be shared socially. So I'm just going to...
It's on this one.
Ah, okay, thanks. So here's an example of a promo page. Essentially, just jumping back to here, there's various different skins and backgrounds that we can choose, kind of based on the aesthetic of the app. And then we can put a full description and put our URLs and link it to Facebook, and they'll all get pulled through here. So obviously, this will be your app icon. This will be the name of your app, your QR code, social links. I assume this will be the company, so that will be your image, not ours. and the description will be shown here as well, and this will be your screenshot of the app. So again, this is a real simple way that allows you to, or your customers, to have a URL which will be unique to their app, and they can share this. But equally, this is also responsive, so again it responds down. But if you open this on an iOS device, it'll actually go straight to the App Store to download the app. Equally, if you do that on an Android device, it will go straight to the Android page with Google Play to download the app. So this view here is what you would see if you opened it up on a desktop, which allows you to kind of go to the various stores. But if you open it on a mobile device, it will still go direct to the relevant app store to download that. So again, this is just more of a value added rather than kind of replacing the kind of the download page. And of course, what we can't see at the moment is, in addition to the QR code, next to it there would also be the icons for the various different stores, and they will be based on the URLs we've got here for Google Play and for Apple. So again, it's just another little promotional tool that allows a consistent way for you and your customers to share the apps and promote the apps with a nice destination page where you can control the text and the various different theming aspects. The final aspect within marketing at the moment is the social media. So again, this has got a couple of little tips on kind of the best way to promote your app, and kind of direct links that allow you to kind of simply share your kind of URL and kind of whatever message you put in here, and share that, and kind of you start to get some immediate traction, without having to do a lot of copying and pasting. So again, it's just small little gains, but all of these small little gains add up to kind of big benefits. So hopefully you guys will appreciate that and get some good benefit out of that, and help your customers by kickstarting the promotion of their apps, which again will be a great benefit for yourselves. So on top of that, obviously we'll have a few more icons here, which will be around the analytics and push and CRM. So what I'm going to do is just, as an admin, turn those on for the customer. So that would take us to the dashboard, and we can choose to view all apps. And in this case, it was Ian Test. So what we can see here in the corner is it tells us the app name that we've currently chosen. So we can see it's Ian S Test in this case. And here we can see we've got the various different app codes. So in this case, just hovering over any of these app codes within the dashboard, I can see to choose to edit app details. And what that will allow me to do is turn on the various different options, so messaging, analytics, and CRM. So when I next load the app, we'll be able to see all of those additional options within the navigation. So again, within messaging, we have the various different options, from sending a standard push notification to choosing to send it at a scheduled time for it to be reoccurring, or one of the more recent exciting additions is choosing kind of a geofence. So when somebody arrives, so it's not specific to time, but specific to action. So when someone leaves or arrives at a certain area, we can send a push notification. So again, from a geofence perspective, that's really useful in terms of being able to highlight an area which could be a competitor. So right, okay, that's where the competitor is. When a customer arrives at a competitor's destination, and again, you can have more than one if you want to, when a customer arrives in any of these 4 destinations, then send a push notification which says, get 10% off now. So it really allows, from a marketing perspective, a way to create a marketing message which is based on the action of going to a competitor's location rather than your own. And again, that could be, as an alternative one, it could be you choose to geofence your own area and send a push notification, thanks for visiting, when you're leaving an area. So again, this is obviously not a completely brand new function, but it's something we've added recently. But what this does show is how all of these kind of fit together. One thing we have done in terms of the new UI is merge the standard messaging and the advanced messaging all into one area. Again, just trying as part of that kind of keeping it simple refinement. And then the other option we have with the messaging is really just about the history. Obviously, this being a new app we've just created, there is no history at this point. So that's all of the messaging as it stands at the moment. And then here we have the analytics. Again, we're not going to see too much insight here for an app that we've not published yet, but as before, we will see graph data of the results of downloads and from a geolocation perspective. And if we have any reporting data, we can see the various different reports that are available. And finally, we have the CRM, and again, we won't see any CRM data in here because it's a new app. But as before, we'll see the list of customers and be able to edit those and see the various different actions, as well as creating different tags for those customers, which we can then in turn use in the messaging section to allow us to send messaging to groups of customers. So that's really the kind of the core functions of using a specific app. What we can do is go back to the dashboard. When we hover over that, we can see the various different actions, such as the different apps that we've recently used. If it's not one of the last 5, we can go to view all apps, and then we'll see all of the apps we've created. What we can do is filter either by an app code or simply filter by all the apps, whether they're demo apps or whether they're actually live apps. What we can also see is the prompt to create a new app directly from here. Obviously, we already have the option to do that within here. Now, your customers will see a dashboard for their own apps or app that they've added, but what they won't see is the admin. Now, the admin section is purely for yourselves as a white label administrator of the platform, and what that really allows you to do is view your customers. So you'll have a list of all the customers you have. Then you can choose to either edit the customer details, create a new customer, or these boxes here allows you to view your customers' apps. So imagine here if you'd had 20 different customers and you choose view all apps, that's going to show you all the apps for all of your customers and allow you to edit them in the way that you currently do. But if from view customers, I may have chosen just to select this particular client, and then what I'm doing is now within dashboard I'm thanks, Sabrina.
It's okay.
Picking that up. I almost got away with that. Within the dashboard, it's the Dutch version. You can see just the apps for that specific customer. And again, you can go back and select a different customer. The managing customers and viewing apps. We've also got obviously your personal details in here, which allow you to kind of update whether you want to stop receiving emails from us. Why would you? Your username and of course your password. Also your billing profile information, obviously for free, and you're all kind enough to pay us for that. And so here we'll be able to see your credit card or PayPal details if you're choosing to pay in that way. And also now a new addition is you can now view your invoices within the admin section. So again, hopefully this makes life a little bit easier for you. So rather than just waiting for that invoice, I'm sure it tentatively looks like watching your inbox, waiting for it to hit. You can now see that within the admin section as well. So hopefully that will make life a little bit easier. And then on the final straight now, the white label marketing section. Again, this is something which is let's say a work in progress. We definitely have a level of information here that we hope is useful in terms of promoting your business and also in terms of the agreements, etc., running your business. But definitely we know this is an area that we need to improve and add more information to. And again, I would ask or solicit your suggestions on areas that you feel would benefit you in terms of either promotional or sales literature or imagery or whatever it is that you think would be helpful. And we're all ears on that, and we definitely want to kind of help you be more successful by providing more literature and point of sales information. The final option we have here, the theme editor, again is a new area that really puts the control in your hands in terms of the color scheme, of this whole system. So as we can see here, as we've been going through it, we've got this green and grey color scheme, and what we've got here is the aspect of the way to control all of that. So we've kind of really broken it down into 3 areas, which is navigation, which is this kind of area you see here on the left, content, which is really the area in the middle, so from dialog boxes to background page colors, button colors, all of those, and then toolbox, which is really this area on the right. And within all of these areas, as we choose one of these 3 areas, we'll see on the right here the options change. So when we're in navigation, we can see that there's navigational change colors. When we're in content, we can choose things like the page background. And when we're in toolbox, we've got the kind of areas on the right. So if we want to kind of really go nuts, we can kind of do that and choose all of these different areas. And what that will result in is a pretty awful looking content management system if you follow my lead on color selection. But what it does is, with these updates, allow you to kind of see the various different options. Obviously, you can save the theme. Then what it will do is we'll refresh the page, and you will see your actual content management system refresh based on that color scheme. Based on the options I've just set there, I'm definitely not going to click save, but I'm sure, given some time and patience, you'll be able to create some really beautiful color schemes and a distinctly kind of unique color palette and aesthetic to your own tool set. And obviously, also besides colors, we've also got logos. So the navigation logo, which appears on the top left, and also the login screen logo. So again, 2 different logos that you can choose to upload, which allow you to change again the appearance. Obviously, as we saw before, once you've selected a particular app, that logo will change to the app you've selected, which again we thought was a nice little touch for the customer to really own the system they're using when they can see that and see their own brand within that. So I think really that was everything we wanted to cover in today's webinar in terms of just giving you an overview of how everything works. Obviously, the key idea behind this was simplifying, stripping back the interface, putting content front and center in the most important area, but also making it consistent. So the consistency part of that is if you ever need help, you've got the help icons here consistently in the top right of every area, within dialog to the right, and we've also got our inbuilt chat help as well. Again, for you just ask any questions at any point. So I hope this has been useful, and I look forward to seeing you your themes and hopefully maybe take some questions now.